Good evening. My name is Joe Trant, and on behalf of Team Polaris, I would like to thank you all for attending our presentation tonight. We've been contracted by a small business called AlohaAlma to develop a simple-to-use customer database and accompanying website to track customers and their orders.
For our presentation outline, and during our presentation tonight, we'll cover the course of the project, the driving factors, entities, a demonstration of the products, what was good, what was bad, right and wrong, some of the lessons learned, and some final thoughts from all the pertinent parties. Here's the quick bluff, or bottom line up front. The reality is that AlohaAlma is a business that needs to enhance its ability to track customers and orders. However, the proprietor and owner of AlohaAlma lacked the technical know-how, time, and process to develop a solution that was right for her business. Team Polaris offered their services to develop a solution that was simple to use, easy to teach, and technically manageable. Given the remote nature of each stakeholder and the current COVID environment, a completely online and remote solution could be implemented with few challenges. Additionally, a timeline of 12 weeks was allocated to produce three main products, which were an Access database, a website, and the training materials and support mechanisms to make it all work. The why is obvious. AlohaAlma wants to use powerful tools to enhance her growing business. Team Polaris would accomplish this through an agile mindset, but with traditional Scrum artifacts. Despite the 5 Ws and how, Team Polaris also felt that it was critical to emphasize the motivation for such a project. Should we, could we, and would we? As stakeholders, it was important that we agreed that this project and solution wasn't just something we needed to do, which was a true statement, but rather a project we wanted to do, which was a truer and better statement.
I am the project manager, and I am joined by my awesome teammates Tobin Taruya, Christian Mendoza, and John Hong. Generally speaking, Christian and John are the creative gurus that work behind the scenes building and developing the products, whereas Tobin and I track and plan our project's progress. We also coordinate with the project sponsor and client, Mrs. Alma Mendoza. Our project sponsor and client is Miss Alma Mendoza, who owns and operates an online store called Aloha Alma that specializes in small handcrafts and masks. She is the driving force behind the requirements to have driven what kind of database Team Polaris was going to build within Access. Mrs. Mendoza has final approval of proposed solutions by Team Polaris. This decision process occurs weekly as part of our sprints.
Our communications plan included meeting weekly to conduct sprints over Google Meet. We would conduct meetings on Monday evenings and any additional meetings ad hoc to support our sponsors' decision making and feedback as a synchronous effort throughout the project. However, asynchronous communications were vital to ensuring consistency throughout each phase of the project.
And now the problem. Aloha Alma is as old school as it gets. What started as Mrs. Mendoza's hobby has turned into a small, thriving business. Mrs. Mendoza wants to grow this business, but was hampered by her lack of know-how to transfer her client and order data to digital mediums. Also, paper is inherently perishable and hard to back up. There was a great desire to establish an online presence and monetize her hobby into a real business. The solution could be summarized by the following three requirements and three goals. The first requirement was to identify a database management system that could be easily utilized and self-contained. Access was a logical choice. It is the most accessible and easiest DBMS to learn for your everyday users. The second requirement was the procurement of Microsoft 365, formerly Office 365, and a host for the Aloha Alma website. These subscription-based services require very little upfront costs. The last requirement was that the solution had to be integratable with other Microsoft products. Again, as Access is part of the Office suite, this was a no-brainer. The project goals are aligned to meet the requirements. First, the database must be designed smartly. It must be able to receive new data and integrate with the website. Second, the web solution must integrate with the Etsy payment store with AlohaAlma's product website. Finally, there must be training and reference materials for Mrs. Mendoza so that she can accomplish the required functions.
The business case for Aloha Alma is relatively straightforward. Aloha Alma is a growing small business with only a few employees, oftentimes hired ad hoc to meet production requirements relative to the quantity and complexity of customer orders. As Aloha Alma has grown beyond servicing the local community, the clientele list has also grown rapidly, outpacing traditional notebook methods of tracking customer information, orders, sales, and other data points of the like. An Access database will enhance her ability to reach customers and maintain situational awareness of her business sales. I now turn over the presentation to Tobin, who will speak to the benefits and cost analysis of this project.
Thank you, Joe. For my first portion of the presentation, I will be discussing the benefits of the project. One of the benefits of the project is to increase and improve Aloha Alma's customer lifetime value. A customer lifetime value is a metric that indicates the total revenue a business can reasonably expect from a single customer throughout the business relationship. Currently, according to the data that was collected and migrated to the Microsoft Access database, Aloha Alma's estimated customer lifetime value is roughly $583.77. This was calculated by taking the average customer value of $20.13, which is the average a customer spends throughout the business relationship, and multiplying it by the average lifespan of a customer, which was roughly around 29 months. Understanding customer lifetime value is essential as it directly affects revenue. It also provides an understanding of which customer spends the most and which will remain loyal for the longest amount of time. This cannot be accomplished without the ability to maintain and store customer and sale history information. The foundation to increase Aloha Alma's customer lifetime value is through the utilization of the Microsoft Access database and web integration. This will allow Ms. Mendoza to serve existing customers with products and services they are more interested in, making her customers happier, and to ultimately drive customers to spend more money at her Etsy shop. This is accomplished by utilizing a customer entry form like the sample provided, which was created in Microsoft Access or through the web interface, which the customer will have the ability to enter their own information, which will be demonstrated later in the presentation. With this information, the client will have the ability to maintain contact with their customers by sending emails on new products or by mailing thank you letters to customers in hopes to retain and attract their future business. The project will also allow Ms. Mendoza to strategically market her products on her Etsy website. The database was designed to also store order history information, which can be inputted through an order form created in Microsoft Access. The information regarding the history of orders will allow Ms. Mendoza to understand which products have been the most popular and had the most sales. Understanding this information can help Ms. Mendoza tailor which items to market and allow her to update product listings more frequently. Customer lifetime value identifies customers that contribute the most revenue to the business. Increasing Aloha Alma's customer lifetime value is essential to increasing her business revenue. Through obtaining and retaining customer information, Ms. Mendoza can continue to build and increase customer loyalty and retention. And with loyal customers comes lower attrition rates, as well as increased referrals, positive reviews, and increased sales. The project should increase revenue by 50% or more. and with the ability to strategically market products to meet her customers' needs, Ms. Mendoza can develop a customer acquisition strategy that targets customers that spends the most at her business, again, directly affecting positive revenue gains. For my final section of this presentation, I will be covering the cost and benefit analysis. With the project having very limited budget, we tried to provide a solution that had a minimal upfront cost. It worked out better for the client to have annual costs, which was subscriptions and services. The total estimated annual cost of the project is estimated around $948. In order to ensure the project is completed successfully, the following items needed to be purchased: a Microsoft Office 365 Business Basic License monthly subscription, which was an initial cost of $5. Additionally, a business-grade internet connection is required in order to access and maintain the database on the cloud, which is a monthly cost of $73 per month, which the client was already paying for. Finally, in order to host the web integration, a web domain needed to be purchased. This was an unforeseen cost that was identified as the project was on its way. The total annual cost of the domain was $12. There is no additional cost that is foreseen, as the team is not charging for labor, and any maintenance or administrative work in the future post-deployment is again no charge to the customer. The overall benefit the customer database is trying to achieve is to increase revenue by 50%. Currently, the business averages about $106 of revenue per month. If the revenue can average a 50% increase per month, the return on investment can be achieved within 6 months or less. The chart displays the return on investment around June, and you can visually see that the business is profitable from July forward. I will now turn the presentation over to Christian.
Thank you, Tobin. For my first portion of the presentation, I will be discussing the scope as it relates to the current status of our project. Not much has changed since our previous presentation to the class, with the exception of a couple of minor tweaks. The scope of the project remains to be the creation and implementation of a functional Microsoft Access database. We have also utilized the newly created website for our client that was sponsored by Mendoza Web Design, and this is not affiliated with our client, Mrs. Almarie Mendoza. It is purely a coincidence. Originally, the main vision for the scope of the website was to have a form that clients could enter their information into and have that integrate with an automation service called Zapier to add entries to our Access database. This is still true, but our web developer decided to further improve that vision and create a user-friendly interface for the customers of AlohaAlma, which you can see here. This custom-designed website presents her visitors with a user-intuitive interface. They are able to see the features of her handcrafted products, learn more about her and her story behind the crafts, see what others think of her business and her products, and they have the ability to enter their information to be added to her client list, as we previously mentioned. Last but not least, customers are able to view all of her products. These products are all organized in a grid format to show basic product info. Customers have the ability to click on each of these items. Once they are clicked, they display more detailed information as well as a link to purchase the product on her Etsy site. Now, let's move on to the remaining portion for the scope of the project. As mentioned, the form connects to our database platforms using Zapier to reflect the inputted information as a new record in the database. Once we finish fine-tuning the database and consulting with Mrs. Mendoza, we will create a detailed training plan from a layman's approach so that it will be easy to understand. Throughout the project's lifecycle, we have been giving the client view-only access to the database and have had some great feedback from her. We have and will continue to improve on the database while fixing any bugs in the process. In addition, a few changes to our project scope are that we will provide any ongoing training after the project's completion. We will assist in creating custom-made reports, and we will perform any other administrative work pro bono for the first 5 years after the project's completion.
Thank you, Christian. I will now discuss the project risks in 2 sections. First, we have our operational risks, which mainly pertains to human error. Strong oversight will be crucial to ensure that AlohaAlma mitigates any mistakes throughout daily operations. Resource mismanagement can lead to financial imbalances, confusion, and setbacks. Unexpected circumstances may arise where certain members will be absent during project meetings. This scenario would ultimately hinder progression and make it challenging to complete our objectives. In terms of the development risks, there are several things that must be put into consideration. The customer database and the client's website may potentially encounter security vulnerabilities due to various malware attacks. Additionally, lack of performance checks and quality testing may be detrimental. Therefore, a routine maintenance schedule would address and mitigate these issues. This is our Gantt chart that we created to provide you with a visual overview of our tasks from start to finish. We divided our tasks in 4 separate sections, which includes the project initialization, project planning, project execution, and the project closing. As you can see, we are approaching the finish line as July 31st gets closer by the day. Additionally, the start and end dates are listed for each task. This gives us a clear visual way of tracking our progress as we continue to progress throughout the weeks. Although there were no columns to include work hours and costs, we did not think it was necessary, as we are providing these services to AlohaAlma with little to no cost involved. In terms of some of the things that went wrong, during week 1, we experienced some time constraints because everyone lived in different time zones. Specifically, Joe, our project manager, was traveling due to military obligations. Having said that, we were unable to complete tasks number 5 and 6, which comprised of tailoring the AlohaAlma Access database in a one-to-many format. Additionally, we could not finish designing the initial or new customer data entry form. This allows us to input new customer information into the database. As a result, we were able to rectify these issues by simply rolling over these tasks to the following week. In terms of what went right, everything else moving past the initial 3 weeks went according to plan. In fact, we were actually ahead of schedule in most cases. We managed to help fully develop the AlohaAlma website for our sponsor, and we tailored everything to match her business needs. This includes things like product, company, and consumer information. Team Polaris effectively laid out a blueprint to prioritize which tasks needed the most attention on a weekly basis. During sprint number 4, we reached a milestone in the sense of being halfway complete with our project's progress. After we finished our tasks associated with building the Microsoft Access database, we shifted our focus on the full development of the AlohaAlma website along with the automation procedure. We provided AlohaAlma a remotely accessible, reliable, and secure database that can be accessed by Mrs. Mendoza along with her selected employees to manage business operations on a daily basis. Our sponsor has the choice of reviewing all analytical reports on consumer sales. Furthermore, these reports will provide information regarding frequent returning clients and a breakdown of high volume items that are being sold. We ultimately wanted to ensure that the Access database as well as our website are not only user-friendly but also easy to utilize. Team Polaris accomplished this goal thanks to our detailed user manual and personal sponsor training with Mrs. Mendoza. We fully anticipate an increase of about 25% in terms of volume and profitable sales overall. Our team gained real-life experience when it comes to working on an authentic information technology project with a legitimate business. Throughout this experience, we utilized different project management techniques as well. This includes the Agile method. We learned that not every project necessarily needs to be on the higher end of the budgeting scale in order for it to be successful. A project's quality does not always require high spending costs. Moreover, our sponsor simply needed a Microsoft Office subscription as well as the hardware requirements. From a realistic standpoint, however, our budget would not exceed $948 on an annual basis with all things considered. In addition, we learned how to effectively communicate with each other to articulately prioritize our vast array of different tasks. By definition, team dynamics describes the behavioral relationships between members of a group. The dynamic factors can refer to how everyone interacts, communicates, and cooperates with one another. Everyone's collaboration efforts combined with these factors directly influences their level of success. Team Polaris has undergone a challenging journey throughout the development stages of our project. All 4 members resided in different time zones, which made it difficult to promptly complete all of our weekly tasks. By the same token, both Tobin and Joe had demanding schedules due to their military obligations. Yes, there were several instances where certain tasks needed to be postponed. However, our weekly Google Meet meetings gave us plenty of opportunities to analyze, discuss, and properly balance the workload for every week. When a team member was unable to attend a meeting or finish certain tasks, we came together to accommodate these changes. By working together with a team player mentality, we completed all of our tasks and stayed on schedule. I will now turn the floor over to our sponsor, Mrs. Mendoza, so that she can share her final assessment with us.
Hi, my name is Almarie Mendoza, and as a project sponsor, I would first like to thank the members of Team Polaris for producing such an outstanding product. Overall, it was an extreme pleasure working with each member of Team Polaris throughout the life cycle of the project. To provide a brief assessment of the project and my experience, I want to say that each team member was a professional and the communication between each member of the team and myself was outstanding. In addition, the final product met and exceeded my vision and requirements, and although my budget was extremely small, the quality of the product that was produced was unbelievable. Finally, as asked, I wanted a solution that was simplistic and user-friendly, as I am not very tech-savvy, and without a doubt the team produced a product that was just that. Again, thank you for allowing me to be part of this project, and I know, because of your efforts, my business will be much more proficient and profitable in the future.